Alright, so I'm gonna help people who wanna start playing Bryan, or they wanna get deeper into Tekken and wanna start learning more advanced characters like Akuma, or the Mishimas, and Bryan. So, in order to learn Bryan, like, you gotta know firsthand that he is not an offensive character, he's a defensive character. So you need to have more knowledge about your opponent's character rather than your own character, right? I mean, also your own character, but also your opponent's character. Another thing that I'd like to mention is that Bryan is not like Claudio, or I'd say uh, any other easy character like Fakumram. So don't expect easy inputs, and also don't expect low spamming and whatever, because when you get into the higher levels, it's pretty seeable, and you'll just need to advance your gameplay from there on, which in turn will help you get better at Tekken overall. So when Tekken it comes out, you can pick a new character and you can learn the game the right way. So using legacy characters to learn the game is the right way to learn it. If you start off a game with Leroy, or you start off a game with Fakumram or Claudio, or these bullshit characters, then you're doing something wrong. Trust me, you shouldn't do that. You should run the game with strong, hard, battle-hardened, hard execution requiring pieces of metal. Alright, so let's begin. How do you start off with Bryan? How do you start learning Bryan? So forget this. Alright, just forget this exists. Just forget this ever exists. Never use it, because once you start using it, it will put a very bad habit on you. Even if you win the game, right, you're still gonna be very bad at it. You're still gonna be a very bad Bryan player. Trust me, I've suffered through this. Don't use it. Alright, just avoid it. Just forget Snake Edge is in your move list. Just forget it. Next thing. So let's begin how you wanna start off using Bryan. So you wanna start using him defensively rather than offensively. When you begin the game, you want to learn him as a defensive character, not an offensive character. So how do you defense with Bryan? You hold back, right, just like every other character. But with Bryan, if you can backdash, that's fine and well, that's better. And I recommend you learn the backdash, because that's going to help you greatly with Bryan. And Bryan's backdash is pretty tough. It requires you to input the precise Korean backdash input, which can be hard for some people and impossible for some other. So unless you've been living in a cave or been playing Claudio, this should be easy for you. Another thing about Bryan, that Bryan is very weak to sidestep right, so keep that in mind. Okay, so how do you start playing with Bryan? The major key moves that you want to know and you want to really use to defend yourself against pressuring opponents is the mark kick. You want to learn using the mark kick, you want to learn the input, you want to learn the buffer input of the mark kick, which is double tap, down forward, forward 4. This is the buffer tap. This is like the Korean backdash, but forward. This can also be done with mark breaker. Alright, practice this. So the mark kick is the #1 priority here, and let's look at the damage. A 99 damage with the wall. I'm going to do the max damage now. 103. So it launches on counter hit. It's a homing -10 move, which can only be punished by a dig jab, but people generally don't do it. And even if they do it, if they delay it, if they are not timing it right, you can low parry them and get another launcher. On normal hit, the mark kick gets you a free quarter circle back 4, or the soccer kick, right? Which does a total of 50 damage, which is a mini combo. Alright, so the mark kick is the first thing that you want to learn to use. It has great range too, right? Look, it has pretty great range. So another thing, another second major tool the Bryan has is the 3+4. The 3+4 will catch backdashing opponents usually. It will catch any sidesteppers, people who sidestep to the left. The 3+4 will catch it, and sometimes to the right as well, right? 3+4, which also gives you good Oki. Alright, the 3+4 will get you great Oki. And also, if he stays down, if he does not get up, you get a launcher, a mini launcher. Let me show you. Not set. Alright, I hope this does. Yep. See, combo, right? So this is another thing. Then the third best tool that Bryan has would be the orbital. The orbital can be extended by holding up forward, but I recommend you don't do that because that puts you closer to your opponent. So if you whip it, he can launch it, right? For example, I'll show you. See, he can punish it, he can even launch it if you hold forward, that is. So don't hold forward, just do the normal neutral orbital. Alright, and it leads to a combo after that, so which is another great thing, and it's safe on block. Another tool that you want to use is the hatchet kick. The hatchet kick and the forward 3 work hand in hand because you're at +5, so if it connects, the forward 3 becomes a 11 frame move. So unless he does a jab, he's gonna get counter hit by the forward 3. Alright, so these are the key moves that Bryan has: the hatchet kick, forward 3, safe on block, neutral on block, the soccer kick, which is punishable, but I do recommend you use it because it can be good oki when you're playing against people who like to duck a lot. So these are other things. These are the main tools that you want to start using when learning with Bryan, and you want to go on from there. Then after that, when you're at stage 2, when you know how to use these moves properly, that's when you get into the whiff punishment. That's when you start using the quarter circle back 2-4, hit confirming it, right, and the jet upper. That is when you start using the jet upper. So jet upper is 14 frames, it's safe on block, it's high, it tracks to one side, and it's pretty unseeable, trust me. It's almost like electric, right? Just plain electric. So once you're at stage 2, you want to start learning the quarter circle back 2-4. You want to be more consistent with the hatchet kick. You want to be more consistent with the forward 3, pressuring with the forward 3, right? And you want to start using low pokes like this, right? You want to reel them in. You want to perform your backdash properly. You want to start using the strings that Bryan has, the main strings, the 1-2, right, +5 on it, 1-2-3, the 1-2-1, and the 1-2-4. People who only use the 1-2-3, I know why you guys do it, but don't do it all the time because it becomes very predictable and it can cost you a match most of the times if you try to end it with that. So don't do that. Another thing, once you get handy with the 1-2-1, start delaying it because it gives a counter hit launcher, a combo on counter hit. Hold up. Yeah, right there. Right? Alright. Another key move that Bryan has for a whiff punishment would be the Hellraiser, the sidestep one, right? And it has great range and it is safe on block and it's a high. And this is a great move for whiff punishment because it leads to massive damage and it's pretty safe relatively. Even though it is a high, if you do spam it, the opponent will be able to see it and duck it, so avoid it. So these are the key moves that a Bryan player should be using. I was gonna put in the Northern Cross, which is the best move that Bryan has, counter hit launcher. But why you don't want to use it right now when you're beginning with Bryan is because usually you'll be ducking a lot for the Northern Cross. And if you start your Northern Cross with this, and you do this, you don't really want to do that because it becomes very seeable and your opponent will be all over you. He'll be punishing the Northern Cross and whatnot. so you don't want to do that. Alright, so once you're out of all this stuff, in the next video I'm gonna show you how to use the taunt and how you wanna mix it up with your gameplay, how you wanna put it in, use it at the wall and on neutral grounds, right? Alright, see you later.